What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on FantasyPros, but we are kicking it old school a little bit today because we're going to be doing a standard mock draft, 10-team standard mock, picking from the third overall position. So should be pretty interesting. I know some of you have been looking for this type of content more so. Not a lot of standard mock drafts out there, so hopefully this will help. Our roster, same as always, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it. So let's kick this thing off. And while we wait, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's dive into this thing. And the first 2 picks are as follows: Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Now, look, I will say this. In a standard mock draft, obviously receptions don't mean anything. So some of these pass-catching running backs, I wouldn't rank as high. Now here, okay, McCaffrey, Eckler go 1 and 2 respectively. That's not how I would do it. I would have Eckler lower on my list. I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor. I'd rather have Bijan Robinson. You could even make an argument about Saquon Barkley and Nick Chubb. But with that being the case, here I'm between those 2 first names that I mentioned, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson. Now, I know Anthony Richardson is in town for the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to take away some rushing opportunities. I am a little bit worried about that. Bijan Robinson, I think he's going to get a lot of volume. So, a generational type of talent. I'm going to take the chance on the rookie in Bijan Robinson. I don't think he's going to have his opportunities, from the rushing quarterback taken away from him as much. Sure, Ritter also runs it, but not to the extent of an Anthony Richardson. So we're going to take a chance on Bijan Robinson here. And then I think we're going to see what I would expect to be a huge run on the running back position because, look, I say it normally that the running back position is king. I think even more so in standard scoring formats because, those typical wide receivers that get you 100+ receptions, that doesn't count for anything. So it's a little bit different. They are devalued, say what you will. But let's look at the draft board, see what's happened. I mean, yeah, only 2 wide receivers taken in the first round. And I do want to, show you guys something here. Jamar Chase being selected at the 105 before Justin Jefferson. Typically, Justin Jefferson is the unquestioned 101, but in a standard scoring format where receptions don't matter as much, you could argue Chase has higher yardage upside, higher touchdown upside for sure. So Chase is the first pick at the wide receiver position. I don't hate it. Nick Chubb as almost a top 5 pick, a top 5 running back, though, completely makes sense. I would say no more Kareem Hunt, and you don't penalize him really for the lack of receptions. Then Saquon Barkley, Jefferson at the 108, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Breece Hall, Travis Kelce, Kenneth Walker, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Etienne. So, look, here this is going to be a situation of where I am trying to really value the running back position, but also if I see great value at the wide receiver position, I'm going to take it if it's there. So right now we're in a position where we have, once we make our selection here, 4 picks in between our next selection. So there's a couple of guys I see here at the wide receiver position: Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown. I'd be fine with any of them. We could also potentially double dip and get both a Lamb and an A.J. Brown, something like that. But I do think there is a massive fall off at the running back position, and I do think that we're going to see a run on the running back position after we make a selection here in a little bit. So I don't think we're going to have Joe Mixon fall to us. I don't think we're going to have Miles Sanders fall to us in the, what would it be, 4th round. So basically what I'm saying is I have to take a running back here. I am between Ramondre Stevenson and Najee Harris. Now, to me, I think that the higher pure rushing yardage upside is with Najee Harris. The question is, do you really believe in the team? Do you believe in that offense? Do you believe in that offensive line? Najee Harris had a big-time letdown compared to last year, but, with the New England Patriots, it's always tough to predict that backfield. But with Damian Harris gone, I am leaning towards giving Ramondre Stevenson a little bit more of a chance. Both him and Najee Harris are kind of, also guys that get value as pass catchers. So looking at that as a wash, I'm going to go with the guy that I think is in the better offense. Hopefully we'll get more opportunities now without Damian Harris. I know they've brought in some other guys, but he's the established one. So I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson here. And then let's see what's available to us in this next round. I think we're going to have a decent slew of guys. So what we see is immediately after Najee Harris, then goes those 3 wide receivers, because even though it's standard scoring, it's still presented a good value. Diggs, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown. So I will happily here take CeeDee Lamb. I think high yardage upside, high touchdown upside. So we've got 2 good running backs, and then we've got a stud wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. So I like how that plays out for us. Let's look at our cheat sheet again here, what's available. So we were kind of right. Those guys like a Joe Mixon, guys like a Miles Sanders no longer available. Dameon Pierce is still there, so that's a little bit surprising. And I probably will go that direction again. There's still some other wide receivers. I do like Chris Olave. I do like DK Metcalf. I think one of those guys will be available to us in the next round. Here, like I said before, I think the running back position is so important. So I'm going to get another starter. Dameon Pierce fits that bill. And, just reminding you of our roster, we already have Bijan, Ramondre. Let's add Dameon Pierce to the mix. To some extent, we're going to have that running back position, taken care of. I'm looking at other positions as well. We could go tight end, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, but I'm not going to worry about it as much. What we saw between our selections, DK Metcalf, okay, so he goes, Jahmyr Gibbs, James Conner, and Jalen Hurts. I could go quarterback, but, I'm fine. This is a 10-team league. I'll be perfectly fine getting a Dak Prescott or a Deshaun Watson, something like that. I want to load up on a lot of talent here. I think that T. Higgins is that more prototypical standard scoring wide receiver, but I'm also looking at Chris Olave. He's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on his team, so I think that is a little bit more valuable. I'm going to go Chris Olave here. Yes, I know he's more PPR suited, but I'm going to give him the slight edge. So let's go with Chris Olave here, and then see what we can do with our next couple of selections, see if we can get some good value. And I'm looking at it right now. There was a little bit of a tight end run. So what we see here, actually Dallas Goedert is still available. And I think out of all the guys that's still on our list, he would be a decent selection. Let me see again. I want to take advantage of the guys that are drafting before me and after me. So we have got 2 teams that don't have a tight end. So there's a very good chance that Dallas Goedert could be one of their selections. I do also really like Calvin Ridley here. And I guess we can take a chance to see if he falls to us. If he does, great. If not, we can go with the DeAndre Hopkins. We can go with the Mike Williams. So let's do it this way. Let's go with Dallas Goedert, take our next highest ranked tight end. We need a tight end, so that takes care of that. If Calvin Ridley goes, oh well. If not, he will probably be our selection. I think, again, he's one of those other standard suited wide receivers. Receptions might not be there, but high yardage upside, high touchdown upside. And if you believe in, in Lawrence, in the Jacksonville offense taking another step forward, I think you have to believe in Calvin Ridley. Don't get me wrong, I like guys like Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, but Keenan Allen definitely that poster child for PPR scoring. DeAndre Hopkins still doesn't have a team, so it's tough for me to trust him right now. I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley here and not even, waste any more time double guessing that. And now let's see what else happened here. Let's see a couple other selections that I actually thought would have a chance to get back to us. So there was a little bit of a quarterback run: Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott. Alexander Madison goes in the 8th round. I was hoping he could fall to us, obviously, with the big news that Dalvin Cook was cut. Alexander Madison, at least right now, the starter for Minnesota. So tremendous value in the 8th round. But I wasn't as pressed to get another running back. I already have 3 with Bijan, Ramondre, and Dameon Pierce. So not the end of the world here. I will say Alvin Kamara is still available. At this point, becomes not a bad value. I realize he's, again, another one of these PPR type of running backs, and he is facing a suspension, so that is something to keep an eye out for. We have a chance to take a quarterback here in Deshaun Watson, but I'm probably going to do that in the next round. If I'm looking at wide receivers, if I'm looking at value right now, we already have Calvin Ridley, so probably not going to go direction of Christian Kirk. Mike Evans is definitely one of those standard suited wide receivers, but I just don't believe in the situation in Tampa Bay with the quarterbacks they have. So Michael Pittman here, Jahan Dotson, Marquise Brown. I'm going to go Marquise Brown. I think he's just going to get crazy volume. And to me, that's going to be valuable. I know that could mean a lot of receptions and might make him more PPR suited, but he should also see a lot of yardage opportunities. So that should count for something as well. So let's go with Marquise Brown. And I think we're going to see Kyler Murray play this season sooner than some people might anticipate. So I like that selection for Marquise Brown for us. I think at this point in time, also, every team has a quarterback other than us. That is the case. So I can continue to wait on quarterback. We saw a couple of tight ends go here. And because of that, I think we're in a good situation to now continue to load up on best player available. At this point in time, why not select either Javonte Williams or Alvin Kamara, continue to add depth at the running back position. However, here, which one of these guys do you go with? Let's go worst case scenario here. Alvin Kamara faces a suspension. Javonte Williams coming off a serious injury. Who are you going to go with? Kamara gets a lot of his value as a pass catcher and isn't going to get the pure volume as a rusher. I'll go with Javonte Williams. I'll take a chance on him and, have that running back position just not even be a worry anymore. So that's taken care of. Looking at the cheat sheet again, let's see what wide receivers are still left. So Deontay Johnson, Jordan Addison, Rashad Bateman, I don't mind for Baltimore. Let me go ahead and get my quarterback right now. So we're done. We're done with that as well. So I'm going to take a quarterback the next selection, but this time around, probably going to go with Rashad Bateman. I think he's more of a standard suited guy. He's not going to get you a lot of receptions, but the yardage upside is there, as we saw last year. Should be healthy. I know there's going to be more competition, but you could definitely argue that he has the highest upside out of all those wide receivers. So that's taken care of. Here we're going to add our quarterback. Let's go with Deshaun Watson, and then we're going to make one final selection and see what we can end up with. So let's see what we have left available to us. I'm looking at wide receiver. Brendan Cook's not a bad option. Tight end. Let's see who's Cole Kmet, Dalton Schultz. I don't mind either one of those guys. I believe a little bit more in Dalton Schultz and give us a backup to Dallas Goedert in case he gets hurt. I know that we have Dameon Pierce, but I'm not too worried about it. So let's add Dalton Schultz, and let's see what grade we get here for this standard mock draft. We get a B-, not too bad, but I would say we did a decent job. It's definitely a different beast compared to even a half PPR or a full PPR draft. So you have to absolutely change your mindset here. We went with Bijan, we got Ramondre Stevenson, we got CeeDee Lamb. I mean, just keep in mind, we're able to get him in the 3rd round. Chris Olave in, the 5th round, something like that. And then we got a lot of good value at wide receiver. I tried to go with wide receivers that were either going to get a lot of volume or guys that were the number ones on their team. So even though they might be a little bit more PPR suited, they still have some really nice upside. So all things considered, I think we did a good job. I'd probably agree here. We get a B- grade. If Bijan can be what we hope for him and Ramondre can continue his run from last year, I think we're in a very, very good spot here. So, okay, B-, but I think the upside here is bigger than a B minus. But hey, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? Let us hear it in the comment section. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at alldaypigskin to continue interacting with us there. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.